Hi Eric, it's the Be Built by Bros on Muscle Tyler, and it's the first show of the year, you guys. First one of 2016. What's going on, Merlin?
We have a great show. I'm really happy about the show because
we have a great show.
We have. That's true. I'm never going to come on here and say we have a sucky show today. But no, yeah, I'm really excited because we brought back Mr. Mark Durando, who's actually getting himself ready here.
What's going on, man?
Just getting my pre-workout stack going.
Yeah, man. You have to give us a secret. Good to see you back, Mark.
Yeah, it's good to be back on.
All right, man.
So Mark right now is heavy into his off season, and we've put on probably about a good 10 pounds or so.
And he still looks good.
Still lean.
Yeah.
He's never been 195 and ripped in his life, and he still is. So we're gearing him up for whatever next show is going to be next. No plans yet. We're just putting size on him. And today we're going to train some chest and tries, and I think we're going to film tries for you.
Full workout.
We're going to full workout, an FTX2 workout, so that'll be exciting.
Nice.
And then, Dave and I will talk about whatever.
All kinds of
we have all
stuff,
kinds of stuff. We don't know because it's a new year, so we're all still a little loopy. But
yeah, we're winging those show, you guys, most of the time. Doesn't look like it, but we do.
It'll be a fun show, so we're looking forward to bringing it to you. It should be a great year.
All right. Mark, welcome back, man.
Thanks.
Okay guys, so we promised you a full triceps workout today with me and Superman over here, Mark Durando. We're doing an FTX2 workout today, which you've seen us do before, but maybe you guys haven't seen it. Who haven't seen it, FTX2 is a training system that I developed recently. I've been working on it for a few months, changing it, tweaking it until it's right. And what you're doing in the beginning is we're going with very high repetitions. We're going to exhaust the slow twitch muscle fibers. Then we go from there to a movement that's very heavy in the 4 to 6 range with explosive movements, and we're trying to excite the central nervous system, because when you excite the central nervous system with low reps like that, it actually helps to fire off muscle fibers when you go into the next two exercises, which will be for 7 to 9 reps. So you'll see how we do it today. We're starting off with a tricep push down, which is a little bit unique. We're going to be leaning back against this pad here. And what we're going to be doing is, instead of pressing straight down, we're going to be pressing down and out, as you'll see. It's going to be for high reps, 20 and above. And it's kind of in between, like a push-down extension. It's a great movement. Just something a little bit different to throw in a different angle for the triceps, and that's the way we're going to start it out. Okay, so Mark's settling in for his, actually did one set already. This is going to be the second set of the high repetitions. We want 21 to 25. And if you can get more than 25, then we go for it. Sometimes we do sets as high as 40 and 50 reps. It depends on what we want to do that day. But the weight that he has on there should be good for about 20 to 25. Now, as you can see, his feet are out in front of him. His back is up against the pad. And he's not pushing straight down. So his elbows are slightly in front of his torso instead of next to his torso.
Yeah.
And he's pushing out and away. So it's almost in between a push down and an extension type movement. It hits the triceps just a little bit differently than regular push downs. He's using a wide grip on the bar, but you can vary that as well. But he's keeping those elbows locked in place no matter how hard it gets, because if he doesn't, I'm going to smack him. So he's going to do it. Come on, Mark. Right to the end here. He's pushing as many as he possibly can while keeping you in good form. Come on. Push. Push. Last few. Come on. Hit it.
It gets really heavy.
And it gets, by the time you get to 15, 16, 17, then it's just really a mind game after that because so much pain. So that was his set, and then we're going to go to heavy movements after this. Okay, so we're moving on to our second tricep exercise. The first one you saw was the push down extension type movement where we did for about 21 to 25 reps. Now we're moving into our 4 to 6 rep movement. Of course, sometimes we get 7, sometimes we try to stick in that 4 to 6 range. So if we get more than 6, we'll go a little heavier on the second set. We're going to be doing very slow negatives on these. It's about a 5-second negative, a 1-second hold at full stretch, and an explosive positive. And again, we try to use explosive reps, which means basically pushing or pulling the weight as fast as you can. Now, sometimes it doesn't move actually that fast, but in your mind, you're thinking be explosive as you can, because like I said, it excites the central nervous system. When the central nervous system gets excited like that, it helps to fire off more muscle fibers during the next couple of movements, and we're really going after those fast twitch muscle fibers, and those are the ones most responsible for growth. So first we exhausted the slow twitch, then we excite the fast twitch with the central nervous system, and that's what we're going to do on this movement here, which is this machine right here. at Gold's. This is one of my favorite movements. I just love the angle of the machine. I love the way the hands are in like this. It just feels very comfortable to me, so I go back to it quite often. And I like to go heavy on machine movements a lot of times because I can have more control with them, especially during these slow negatives like we do on these types of exercises. So this is next. All right, here Mark is starting out now on this extension machine. The goal is 4 to 6 reps. As you can see, that tempo is very slow, about 5-second negative, 1 second hold, a full stretch, and then he explodes when he pushes down. Right there, explode, push hard. 5 seconds up. At that full stretch, he holds for a second and then explodes. He's doing the best that he can to stabilize his body. Last set, I was actually holding him down, so he's doing a good job here. And boom, all triceps right there. And push. Last one, come on, come on, come on. Then you got push, right in that rep range of 4 to 6 where we want it. Controls, push, squeezes out, and even you notice, even right down to that very, very last rep, he's still holding that tempo of 5 seconds, and sometimes even a little bit longer in the last couple, as you can see, because he's trying to stay in control. Excellent set right there. That is amazing for growth, because you think about the fact that each repetition is taking about 6 or 7 seconds. So even though there was only about 6 reps for the set, each repetition was about 7 seconds. That's about 42 seconds for a set. That's still right in the growth range. So not only is he excited in central nervous system, he is getting growth out of these low reps. All right, now we're moving into our third exercise. Rep range goal is somewhere between 7 and 9, up to 12 is okay. And what we're doing is, we've shown this on the show many times before, is doing my version of a close grip bench press, which you'll see is a lot different than the normal press, which is with the elbows close to the body. You'll see we're going to have our hands out this way so the elbows stay away from the body and you're actually pressing this way. What that does is it transfers most of the tension onto the long head of the triceps here, which is the bulk of the triceps, and it takes much of the pressing away from the chest. It can't go as heavy, but it's a much more direct hit on the triceps. We're going to be using a slow tempo again, as I like to do, about 4 seconds down, 0 at the bottom, about 2 seconds on the way up. So we're not going to go explosive. Now we're going to take our time on the way up, and it's going to be a 1 second hold at the top. And as you'll notice when Mark does these, he's not completely locking out at the top. So the goal for this set is basically to keep the muscle under tension for the entire time, from rep 1 to the final rep. Okay, so now Mark's doing the Merlin close grip bench press. As you can see, look at his position of his hands on the bar, how they're turned, and how the bar is resting in the palm of his hands. That's very important for this movement, because what you want to do is you actually want to press through the bottom of the palms, which will very much activate the triceps more than anything else. You don't want to push through the fingers, you want to push through the palm. As you can see as well, on this version of the close grip, his elbows are out to the sides.
They're in line with his shoulders.
They're in line with his shoulders, as opposed to regular close grips where the arms are tucked into the body. This transfers most of the effort. Obviously the whole tricep contracts, but it transfers more effort onto the long head of the triceps, which makes up the bulk of the triceps. I'm going to jump and give him a... I was going to give him a spot there because it got hard.
That got really hard.
Yeah, that was a tough one. To just go over what he was doing again, he was using again a very, very slow negative. It gets very, very hard in the middle, because what's happening is a lot of times in the close grip bench press, a normal close grip bench press, your chest can become involved in the movement, your shoulders can become involved in the movement, so it can help you get those last few reps. This is so isolated on the triceps that when they fail, you're done. So it's a great exercise for, like I said, the long head of the triceps. Give it a shot. All right, we're on to our final exercise for triceps. Again, we're going to be sticking in the range of about 7 to 9 reps. That's the goal. We're going to speed the tempo up a little bit on this one. It's going to be about 3 seconds on the way down, 0 hold at the bottom, and then about a 1 second on the way up. So it's not explosive, but 1 second, so it's still a pretty quick rep on the way up, even though it never moves that quick. We're doing one arm at a time. We're doing an overhead tricep extension, one of our favorite things to do. We're staying on the long head of the tricep. Any movement that you do where the elbow is up by the ear activates most of the long head of the tricep, and since that's the bulk of the tricep, that's what we're looking to build most right now, because we're looking for that mass in the tricep. We love to do this one on a cable. Of course, you can do it with a dumbbell as well, but the advantage of a cable that there's tension all the way through the rep, all the way from the bottom to the top. There's no tension at the top with a dumbbell, but here the cable is still pulling, so you can squeeze to the top and keep that tension on. So this is going to be the final tricep movement of this FTX2 workout. Okay, so as you can see, we're using this machine a lot. Most people will use this machine 2 arms at a time, which is great. but I like the one-arm version as well because I love unilateral training. Gives you a little bit more focus on the muscle group, more muscle fibers fire when you do unilateral training. Plus also can help to equal out strength imbalances from the left to the right side. Okay, as you see, he's doing about a 3-second negative. Hits the bottom and about 1 second to the top and squeezes at the top. That's what you could do with this cable as opposed to a dumbbell. He's already getting down to the point where you can see he's struggling, which is good. And he's going to check this the last one. Didn't quite make it. Now, I want you to notice when he does this also is that he has the discipline to keep the elbow in that same position throughout the set. He's not moving it. Even when it starts to get hard, he's still keeping that elbow in place, and he's going to fail doing the form properly the whole way through. He's not going to start to jerk the weight or move the elbow or move the shoulder to try to get extra reps, which does not do anything for the triceps and can only lead to injury. So again, we're looking for 7 to 9 reps. I think he's going to fall a little bit short. That's okay. The goal is 7 to 9 when we do the FTX2 workout. Come on, Mark. Squeeze it up. Push, push, push. Come on. That's it. And he took it right to total failure. You can see he went right to total failure. He went to the point where he couldn't even move it just even a little bit. A little extra bonus tip today. Actually, we were doing abs, of course, part of this workout, and we're doing the seated crunch machine. And it's something that I've been wanting to show you guys who use the seated crunch machine to make it more effective. A very, very simple tip. So you're going to see it when he films Mark here doing a set. So basically, on all of these machines, they always have the pads at the bottom. You can walk over it. This is gorilla filming. We never know who's going to pop in. So you can see the pads that he has there, and everybody puts their feet under the pad, okay? And then they do their reps. Now the problem with that is that when you put your feet under the pad, is that it engages the hip flexors. So the hip flexors basically up here, and it's taking away from abdominal movement. So what he does is we're going to take his feet and we're going to put them on the other side, which removes the pressure from the hip flexors, and now the abs have to do the entire movement. This makes this movement a lot more effective for your abs, and also can help to reduce pain and injury on the hip flexors, because when you pull on the hip flexors like that, it can end up pulling on the lower back, and you can have a whole chain of problems just starting there. So put your feet on the other side of the pad, even if you have to go a little bit lighter and a little bit slower and more controlled, and you'll get a lot more out of this movement.
All right, Merlin, another good one today in the books. First one of the year.
Yeah, that was, first of all, the workout was awesome. We did chest and tris, FTX2 training. We really hit it hard today. My good buddy, great client, amazing client, does everything to a T, very proud of this guy. Mark is in his off season right now. He came down from Bakersfield, and he comes down every once in a while to train with us, be on the show. We're not really sure when his next show is going to be. Probably maybe sometime early in 2017. Right now we're just working on building up. He's got tremendous legs. I have to equal out his hamstrings with his thighs. I have to bring up his chest. I have to bring up some more thickness in the upper body to match his thighs. And that's what we're doing right now. So we had a great workout today, and I love when he comes down. And he's only, listen, like I say all the time, be a bodybuilder 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He's only up about 10 to 12 pounds off of his contest weight. He feels great. He's as strong as ever. He loves being able to show his abs every single day, even in the off season. And he's growing. You can grow just being 10 to 15 pounds heavier. You don't have to be 40 pounds heavier. So I'll throw it over to Mark.
Yeah, Mark, tell me a little bit, since the show's ended for you, how it's been, and you weren't sure if you were going to stick for the off season. You decided to stick around just to make those gains. Talk to me about what's been going on since the show for you.
Yeah, Murray and I were just talking about a little bit, like after the show, like, took a week off, just me doing whatever, like you can lift if you want or do not lift. Like him, I like to lift all the time, so I didn't take any time off whatsoever. And then I hit him up like the following week after that and be like, hey, I'm ready to still keep going. Like, let's keep doing all off season. I don't want to stop building what I've already founded from the show, from the prep. So we're just kind of slowly building it up from there. But I mean, I'm feeling, like I said, feeling great. I'm loving that I still have a six-pack. Like compared to the last show I did like almost 2 years ago now, I gained almost like 30 pounds of just solid mass, but really didn't have a whole lot of physique build.
Right.
A lot of imbalances in my legs, which my quad was still dominant in my hamstrings, or chest wasn't filled up all the way. Now we're kind of targeting those two areas to make a foundation of that for the following shows to come.
So you're filling the holes right now, as we say all the time.
Yeah, big time.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And another thing that's great is that, when Mark, I prescribe all Mark's workouts like I do with most people. I write the workouts on, and I send them the email, and they do the workouts. But it's great when they can come down here and they could train with us, because I could show them, like today I showed them a trick on abs, how to make it more effective. I taught them a new tricep exercises. And also that the good thing is that since Mark is a trainer, I love being able to pass this stuff to him, because now he's going to pass this stuff on to his clients,
right.
and it's going to make him even more effective as a coach and trainer, so that one day he's going to be the Merlin too.
You're spraying the Merlin vibe.
When I'm in a wheelchair and I'm like a little old man, and he's still banging it out, he can carry it on. But
that's awesome.
So it was a great workout today. We had a great time, and we look forward. We'll have you come down again anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me back on the show again.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for making the drive all this way.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, Happy New Year. This is the first show of the year. Keep watching. We love making the show for you guys all the time, and great 2016 to everybody.
Thank you for watching. Keep watching.
Hi, Biggie. So we're back at your place. I wanted to we went to go and train with Mark right now. We did some chest and some triceps, but I wanted to talk a little bit back at your place, because a lot of people have been asking me, just like they've been asking you, during this past year, what's Merlin about, and some people want to hire your services, and they always ask me, well, how much does he charge? And I never know. I don't know what your prices are. I don't know what you provide and all that stuff as far as packages and things. I always tell them, just to reach Eric. Here's his email, and then he'll get back to you right away, which you always do. I know that, but I think also a lot of people are apprehensive, and they just don't feel, oh, I can't afford it. They tell me that a lot. I can't afford a coach. I can't afford a coach, because they've heard the grapevine. Some of the guys, the big names, will charge easily, and I've heard that many times, $5,000 prep. That's a lot of money. So some of people do want to reach higher levels, and they want to make progress, but they just give up right from the beginning. So and I'm not doing this to plug your business, just so people know. I'm doing it because so many people have asked me all the time. And you do have this great site, which I've never even been on, the Be-Built website. I always put the address at the end of the video. And then you brought something up just a few days ago, and you told me about this, and I was like, oh my God, we have to talk about it on the show, because this is something that could really help people. So here's your website in the background, people. We're seeing it right here. This is bebuilt.net. So talk to me about your website.
Well, basically, I created the website just to have a place for people to go and learn more about me, and just essentially, if somebody just asked me quickly, they wanted to know about my services, I just say, here, you can go there and you can find everything from my personalized services to my ebooks to some testimonials, and just more about me and what I do. But most people actually just come to me and they ask me directly, and I have no problem just talking to them directly. But what we were talking about yesterday, which was just talking out of the blue, is that like you say, a lot of people, some people want to hire me as a coach for full-on prep or full-on off-season, so they hire me for their competitors. But even people, even regular people out there who they don't do contest prep, they're just doing more general exercise. They'll hire me for their diet and their training. But then you also have people out there who perhaps they feel that they have their training taken care of, or they like their own training system and they're an expert in that, so they just want to hire me for diet, so I can just do just diet for them. Sometimes it's the other way around. They may feel comfortable with diet, but they want to hire me for training. So I do everything, and it just depends on the person. But one thing that I have on my site, which a lot of people, I don't really plug this so much, but actually, it was your idea. You said, you should really talk about this because I think people will be interested. So I have a thing on my site that, I think that people are so interested in my training systems. And Power Rep Brain Shock was the first training system I developed. And to this day, it's still my most well-known and popular. And I think that it covers the broadest range of people from intermediate, bodybuilders who want to gain size to competitors. Like I've used Power Rep Brain Shock I've used it for the past 15 years myself. And I've used it with elite competitors, elite athletes, so it's not like it's a beginner program in any way, shape, or form. So I use that as my base, and what I have is a subscription program on my site. I'll go to there. It's here under, it says subscribe. And basically what it is for obviously, if you want individualized workouts that are based on your strengths and weaknesses and based on your schedule and your equipment and everything, all that kind of stuff, then you have to hire me for personalized workouts where I develop every single workout for you specifically every single day. But what I do with the subscription program is, and it's relatively cheap, is I still sit down and I develop 4 power rep range shock workouts per week. So it'll be power 1 week, the next week will be rep range, the next week will be shock, and I even do hybrids of those methods. So you don't only just get the basics, I'll do hybrid rep range week, a hybrid power week, and these are basically just slight modifications that I've come up with over the years. So you actually are getting something very different every single week. But what it is a template of workouts where I give you the exercises you're supposed to do in the order you're supposed to do them, the amount of reps you're supposed to do, the tempo of the exercise, and even the rest in between sets. The good thing about it is that you can take that model and either follow it exactly, or if your gym is more limited, or if you want to switch the body parts around, it's very easy to make substitutions or to change the body part order, but you have the specific workouts there, and they are written by me. They're not cookie cutter at all. It's not like I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and every single week I still sit down and write new power up range shock workouts. So it's going to always change, even if you did this for years at a time. And the way I have it set up is basically you can do a 7-day free trial session up here, so you can get it for a week worth of workouts for free. And then if you subscribe, you could do it on a monthly basis for $12.95. You could do it on a quarterly basis for $29.95 for 3 months, or you could do a year for $99.95. So I think the year works out to about $8.30 a month. So it's relatively cheap. And you're still getting workouts written by me. Like I said, they're not specifically geared towards you, but it's still specific workouts, power rep range shock. So that's another option for people, I guess, out there who,
they want to be taught by you, yet they may not have the means or the money at the time. So there's still a way for them to actually get to enjoy, what we're talking about here in the gym.
Right, and it's not just sets and reps. I'm always changing things. The workouts are different. I employ as many of my unique exercises as I can into them. I give you the tempos as well, which is something that is very important that most coaches wouldn't give in a subscription program, and even rest between sets. And also it's every single week you're getting new workouts. So it's definitely an option for you.
That's cool.
For people out there who maybe don't have, like you said, the means to hire me for full-on coaching. Maybe you want to just do the personalized diet with me and then use this as your training. So it's just another option that people look at. And like I said, I don't advertise it much. I don't do much with it. But, there are a lot of people who've been doing it for, they've done it for month, every single month for a very, very long time now. And they seem to enjoy it. So.
Well, I'm glad you talked about it because, just like, you even have athletes, even pro athletes who've hired you just for specific body part. Sometimes they feel like they have everything but they're missing, certain body parts. So you will actually do programs for them only for those. So you'll do it as pretty much whatever people want.
Yeah, if you come to me, like recently I had a guy come to me and he said to me, like right now, he feels that his chest is a weak point. So he said, I really need you to help me to even out my chest and the rest of the body. And I know that you're good at bringing people out of plateaus or weaknesses into strengths, and so that's what I do. So if you don't see anything on my website, or if you have something unique in your head, you're thinking I only want, just ask me on Facebook or email me. All these ways to get in touch with me are on the show. At the end of the show, you'll see my email and everything, and just ask me, and I'll come up with something for you to make it, because I want to make everything specific to the person. So I'm never gonna shut you out and say, no, I don't do that. I'm going to say basically like, let's work this out and we'll figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And, so like I said, the basic options are on the website. You can check it out. And then any other thing you want to do, you just let me know and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because you know what? And the one reason why I brought this up today is because of a good friend of mine, actually named Tim, which we answer some of his questions sometimes on the show. I've always, wanted to work with a coach. He competes and he's very serious about bodybuilding. He loves it. He does this for fun, but he's very serious about it. And when I told him, won't you hire Eric? You saw what he did with me. And he's like, I can't afford him. I said, how would you know? He didn't even ask him. He ended up, reaching out to you, and now you guys are working together. So just go check out the website, you guys. And then if you have any more questions once you see the website, just reach out to Eric and he'll be glad to help you. This goes very well hand in hand with the show. Of course, we talk about it on the show, but we can't cover everything. So you, for most likely, will have questions that we possibly cannot cover on the show. We don't think about it. So ask him.
So just like Dave said, go to www.b-built.net. Check it out. If you have any questions for me, find me on Facebook or email me at bodyfx2@aol.com. And whatever it is you want to do, we'll figure out a way to do it.
Right. This is the new year, you guys. First show of the new year, and that's why I'm bringing this up. I don't think we'll talk about it anymore again. But
I appreciate you bringing this up, and I think it's a good idea because yes, the subscription program is definitely a great thing for people who cannot hire me to do, but it's still getting workouts straight from me. So it's still a great thing.
All right, thanks, Merlin.
Thank you.